Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is part 4, okay, of the recorded lecture for the topic defamation. So in the previous part, we have covered up to the second element, okay, which is word must refer to the plaintiff. So the third element of defamation is the words must be published. So publish here, it has slightly different meaning compared to the natural meaning. So publication, as far as the law of defamation is concerned, it means communication of the words to at least one person other than the person defamed. So here on top of plaintiff defendant, okay, there has to be at least one other person, okay, in which the words has been communicated. Okay, we have discussed the bullet here. Okay, publication may be in words and in writing, obviously. So, but the term publication here, it means communication. So, let's say if the exchange of the words are only between plaintiff and defendant and no other third party involved, no other third person here, so it doesn't amount to defamation. Meaning that here it doesn't, it's not considered as being published. So it has to be communicated to other than plaintiff and defendant. Okay, this is some example of publication, okay, in which it might take place. For example, living document where they might be read by others purposely. You write something defamatory, okay, and then you just leave it there. So others who come to the room can read, for example. Or purposely, deliberately putting letters in the wrong envelope so that the recipient of the letter will have, will read, okay, the letters. Or another way, speaking so loudly that others are likely to overhear. Meaning that here you say it so loud, the rest of class will hear about it. Okay, so all this example of publication. Okay, even though you don't really publish the things in printed journal, for example, printed newspaper. Okay, this is all publication as far as the law of defamation is concerned. Okay, a letter addressed to a particular person, okay, is presumed to be published to the addressee. So if the defendant write a letter to someone, so it's considered as published to that recipient. Okay? And then, let's say somebody else open the letter, receive the letter, and then read it. If a person with the authority read it, so there is no publication. It's not considered as publication to that particular person. It's not supposed to read, but he read it. Okay? We have the case of Hood and Hood. One of the issues in this case is that should the defendant have reasonably foreseen the possibility that a third party might read it. And what happened was that defendant sent to his wife a letter stating they were not married. This is between husband and wife. Okay? They were not married and their children were illegitimate. So it's like a husband writing a letter to the wife. But the letter was read by a butler. Who is a butler? Butler is chief or manservant of house. So obviously they are very rich. That's why they have a butler. So butler who had no authority to read the mail, but the butler read the letter. Right? So does it amount to publication? No, it doesn't amount to publication. Because why? The butler doesn't have authority, permission. Okay? Not legally authorized to read the letter or the mail. So how to protect the sender of a letter from being liable for defamation? So the sender can protect himself by marking the correspondence private. Okay, just put private, okay, or mark it as private or personal, or for your eyes only, for example. Okay, but what if you don't write anything on it? Okay, if not marked as such, and the letter is read by secretary or clerk, it then amounts to publication. Because why? It's not marked as private or personal. So anyone who is assisting the recipient of the letter, okay, might read the letter. Okay, what if the boss dictates a defamatory letter to a secretary? Does that amount to publication? Because usually the boss doesn't type the letter. Okay, secretary types the letter. So the boss says something defamatory and ask the secretary to write the letter, defamatory letter. Is it publication? Yes. Okay, he published the defamation to the secretary. You can read the case of Osborne and Walter, okay, 1930. How about publication between husband and wife? Because in some situation, husband and wife is considered as one entity. But in some other situation, they are considered as different parties altogether. Alright. So communication of a defamatory matter from one spouse to another spouse, okay, regarding third party, whatever conversation they have, okay, actually it's not a publication. So husband and wife are regarded as one entity for that particular situation. But okay, communication by a third party to one spouse, okay, of a matter defamatory of the other spouse is publication. If third party were to say something to the husband, defamatory about wife, then this is actually elements of publication is considered as satisfied in that particular situation. So that's the case of Hicke and Richardson in 1962. What if the defamatory words are being repeated or republished? Okay, all right. So if words are copied or repeated, then in that situation, a new cause of action arises. Okay, remember when we discussed nuisance, okay? When we discuss trespass, so cause of action is considered on daily basis, okay, every day. Okay, but here the moment it's being copied, okay, or repeated, then this is considered as a new cause of action. So for second and other publications, okay, all defendants may be sued again and again. Okay, so for example, reprint, okay, whatever books, for example. So this is actually new cause of action. We have the case of Chua Dreaming and Hu Kok Wing, 2000. So defendant alleged at a press conference that the plaintiff, okay, who was the plaintiff? Chua Dreaming. He was a deputy minister of international trade and industry. So defendant alleged that this deputy minister had received at least 200,000 from a director of a company in order that the plaintiff could grant various licenses to the director. That he has certain money, bribe lah in a way, okay. And the plaintiff owned 3-story bungalow worth 1.5 million and 10 of thousands of electrical goods. So all, which is not really affect reputation lah here, okay, not legally done. So the court held that all those statements actually had discredited and disparaged the plaintiff in his office as a minister. Downgrade. I mean, it affects the reputation, all the allegations here. And it is publication, obviously. Okay, what if the defendant are just a mere distributor? They are not the one who create or who started the defamatory words. So the actual creator of defamatory words, okay? Especially it involves news agent, libraries, okay, bookshop owners or booksellers, okay? Generally, okay, they will also be liable together, but they have a good defense, okay? They can defend themselves, okay, if they can prove that they were innocent of any libel contained in the work. They are not really related. I mean, they are not totally connected with the libel. And there was nothing in the work for them to assume there was libel. Meaning, absence of elements of knowledge. They don't know about the libel. They are not aware of the libel. So this is a good defense for them. But if they are aware, then that's another story. So we have the case here, Vistali and Madi. Okay, Madi Select Library. 119, okay, 1900. So the owners of a library were held liable because why? Okay, they took no steps to ascertain whether their books contain libel. Okay, and then, and a very important point here, they had overlooked a publisher request for the return of the copies of the book in question. First, no action, and then overlook the request. That's why they were held liable for defamation. Okay, libel. And this is pertaining to ISP, Internet Service Provider. In Malaysia, we have quite a number of ISP. For example, we have TMNet, okay, Maxis, Salcom, all those Internet Service Provider, those who provide access to the Internet. So in Godfrey and Demon Internet Limited, 1999, ISP was held not the publisher of a defamatory statement posted on the Internet. So whatever things that the creator posted on the Internet, so ISP will not be held liable together. Because why? ISP is just a mere distributor, and then analogy is that bookseller or librarian, so equal position. Okay, but in this case, okay, actually plaintiff, the one who was being defamed, had notified defendants that the posting was defamatory of him, and he asked defendant, okay, requested to remove it, but defendants refused to do so. Demon Internet here. So therefore, Demon Internet, the ISP, could not rely on the defense of innocent dissemination because they are aware, they were aware, okay, they knew that the statement was defamatory to of plaintiff. Plaintiff notify and ask for removal, okay, taking down, okay, of the defamatory material. So it all goes back to the elements of knowledge or awareness. And also whatever things which is published on the internet, okay, for example blog, okay, we are blog, and nowadays we have many platform, okay, on the internet nowadays, especially social media widely used. So whatever things stated on the internet, okay, uttered or stated on the internet, actually under Malaysian law, under Malaysian defamation law, it is equivalent to whatever things you publish through traditional media, okay, letters or facts, okay. So basically it's the same. Whatever things you type, okay, whatever things you type, so liability is there. Okay? If it is defamatory, then could be liable for defamation. Example here, it involved Raja Petra Kamarudin, famous blogger. Not sure how famous he was, but he was famous, especially those days, okay, 2008. So he was ordered by court to pay big sum. Usually whenever defamation suit, it involves millions, okay, of compensation. So he was ordered by the court to pay a sum of 4 million. And then the group chief editor and editor of an opposition party's newsletter were also ordered to pay 3 million. So 4 plus 3. To whom? To the University, UUM, okay, University of Ultra Malaysia, and its vice chancellor, Dr. Norton Cardi, as general damages. Okay, for what? For publishing libelous statement on his website. So Raja Petra actually published, okay, on his website. So the readership is high, okay, high volume. That's why the amount, I mean, it is reflected in the amount which was being ordered by the court. Okay, printers. So printers is in different categories than distributor. Again, actually, it goes back to elements of knowledge or even Malaysia. Okay, Mirzan bin Mahathir and Star Paparazzi Romerhat. So plaintiff sued the printer of Asian Wall Street Journal for damages for defamatory words published against him. And he also asked for injunction restraining the defendant from further printing defamatory words against the plaintiff. And then defendant in the defense, okay, stated that it was merely the printer of the article and it bore neither ill will nor malice against plaintiff. And then he was actually an innocent pawn. Pawn here means puppet. But still the court didn't accept, okay, because printer was aware. I mean, he's not merely a puppet, okay, he's part, I mean, one of the parties involved. So plaintiff was entitled to damages for this, in this case. All right, that's all for this part. Okay, I think we have one more part, okay, to cover, I mean, to complete all the whole discussion for the topic defamation. So the next part will be defenses. Okay. All right, so that's all for this part. Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.